Rockeyez would like to welcome Speed, Silvertung. 10 years in the business, man. What is it like now? You got a new CD out. Tell me what it's all about.
With the new CD, Devils in the Details, it's amazing. There's been a lot of growth in the band since I put it together. I've gone through a lot of member changes, but it was all for a good reason.
Right.
Because I ended up with what I got now, and I have some of the best musicians that I could find, and they're my brothers now. We've been doing this together as this unit for 6 years, cool. And it's been a great ride. It really has. I mean, it's only going to get better. We have a lot of people on our side now that really believe in the band and believe in what we're doing, and that's one of the big things that I believe that it takes bands to communicate with their fans. You get enough people to believe in you, and anything is possible.
Cool. Now, the title, Devils in the Details, is there a hidden meaning behind the CD cover or anything? Because I'm looking for the details, or is it just I'd say, is there a little joke in here, something?
Well, actually, what it is, it's you decide what the devil is.
Right.
We can't tell you what your devil is. I know what my devil is, and certain guys in the band know what their devil is. So
cool, very cool.
But that's kind of what we did with it. We didn't want to just come out and tell everybody this is how you got to feel.
Right. I was wondering if
you feel how you want.
I had to try to spin the disc backwards. Maybe I got a note in there. I don't know. Who knows?
You didn't get any secret messages or anything?
Maybe. You never know. Someone will come up with something, or they'll stick it in there and say, "Listen to this. Listen to Silvertung."
Right.
It says, "I love dead people." I don't know.
Exactly. Although it must say, "I love Walking Dead."
Oh, so does my wife. She loves it. She misses it when it's off season and stuff like that.
Oh, I know. It kills me. I don't ever watch television, but when I do, that's probably my only show I watch.
Cool. Now, listen to the CD. I know Coming Alive's like the lead track and stuff, but my favorite song just happens to be Burden. I love that song, so...
Wow, that's actually funny because that's my favorite song. I mean, I love the entire album.
Right.
But Burden came to me... it was one of the last tracks that we wrote for that album.
Wow.
And it wasn't going to make it, until we changed a few things. And I like the way I changed a couple of the guitar riffs. They're kind of buried, but they kind of bring out the essence of the song. But they, with that being the last track, we were like, man, is this going to be a good one? Is this not going to work?
Wow.
Because it's slightly different from the rest of the album.
Right. But, but still, to me, when I hear that, I see like an arena band, playing that on stage. I watched the acoustic version today on YouTube, a live acoustic, which was okay. But man, just listening to the CD version really, sets fire to that disc. That's my favorite song. I love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I have to give a lot of that props to Stephen Wright. He, the producer, he made that song sound really, really tight.
Right.
He put work in our pockets, but he made the song sound really tight, and it was just one of those grooves that I started writing, and I wasn't sure where I was going with it, but I kept hearing certain lyrics in my head.
Right.
I kept to myself, what am I writing about here? What am I thinking? And then it slowly unfolded for me, and I was like, oh, okay, now I get all this.
Right. Well,
it turned out to be a really good song, which, like I said, we weren't sure what it was going to sound like, and when we actually heard the recording come back to us, we were like, whoa,
right.
Where did this come from?
Definitely. Like I said, it has that arena feel, like, you're up on that big stage and, playing away. But, I mean, listening to the CD, there, I'm a photographer, so, like, out of every 100 shots, I might like one. You're lucky you have, like, a full disc, and I mean, I can name off, Used to Fly, I love, Falling Again, I love, there's quite a bit of songs, you should definitely be proud of, and proud of the whole CD, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you. And honestly, we are. There's been a lot of hard work behind this album, not only just in the growth, but the companionship that we've had together, and things that we've grown through, and problems that we've dealt with. And I mean, every band deals with issues, and so I'm not going to bore everybody with that. But it wasn't the issues that we were dealing with; it's how we got through it with each other, and we became a closer band.
Right.
We moved in different areas to make things happen for ourselves, and writing the album was a challenge because there was a lot of of agreeing and disagreeing,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is good when you're writing because you're just not compromising.
Right.
And we kept saying, we wanted the fans to help us write this album. The fans had no idea what we were talking about when we kept saying it. So what we did is we explained it to them. We're going to come out with a new song. We're going to play it for a few shows, and you guys decide if you like it, we'll keep it. If we don't, we'll go back and rewrite it. And that's what we did.
Oh,
it took a long time to write the album that way, so we probably won't do that again. Because now we kind of know what our fans like.
Right.
But our fans actually helped us pick all the songs that are on that album. They decided which songs were going to be what on that album. And, I told the fans, you guys are paying for this.
Right.
And essentially you guys are going to buy the album. So don't you think you have the right to choose the songs? It's kind of like we're doing our own iTunes before we put the album out.
Right, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. When you're on the stage and you turn your head and look at ZZ playing guitar, what goes through your mind?
How lucky we are.
Cool.
I have to be honest. I mean, we're four of the luckiest guys, or we feel to be the four of the luckiest guys, to be able to do what we do and survive. I mean, these last few years have been killer for bands,
Right.
and any job really. But as bands, it was a trial for us, and we were hoping, man, the economy sucks, and what do you do for a band that's trying to do everything independently?
Right.
Well, you suffer and you survive, and that's what we did. And when I looked over him, and ZZ's amazing. ZZ just blows me away anyway. He's a great guitar player, and he's a great friend. And he just, every time I look over, I feel very lucky that
Right.
that we're still together and we still have each other. And it's been a great opportunity for all of us to share our lives together, which has brought us to Devils in the Details.
Right. Now, the competition in music is like way above norm. I mean, myself, I get 200 plus emails a day, people asking for, the reviews and no possible way. How hard is it really to make it out there in these days? But you do have the internet, which does help.
Yeah, the internet helps, but, everybody else is doing the same thing.
Right. Definitely.
Everybody's doing Facebook. Everybody does YouTube, and I mean, and it blows my mind sometimes. I look on YouTube and I see bands that I've never heard of before. I mean, and I'm in the scene. I don't mean I'm just in the scene playing. I live the scene because I like to know what's going on.
Right.
And when I hear of bands that I've never heard of before, and then I look at their YouTube and it's 200 and some odd thousand hits, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Wow.
So, is it competition? Yes, it's a huge competition going on out there, and I guess sometimes it's all in who knows the better the technology,
Right.
of how to use it.
Right. Do you feel networking is definitely a plus? Because, do you really need a major label anymore? When you basically have more control as an indie artist than anything else.
Yes, I agree. Networking is extremely important, with or without a label.
Right.
A label is going to only do so much for you these days because a label really doesn't have as much power as they used to.
Right.
One of the big things that helps with a label or any kind of booking agency is the distribution that can help. That, I think, is your key parts of becoming successful these days is your distribution and how you get it. So, everybody goes to iTunes.
Right.
And it's a great way to get your music out. But there are 6 billion bands out there doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then with us, we're road warriors. We like to get out there and we like to play for people. I don't want to sit home and sell singles.
Right.
We don't like that. That's not us. We're a live band. We put on a show. We go out there and we have people. Amazingly, we have people that are into country and hip hop that somehow see us at a rock show, and they come over to us and they tell us that, hey man, I don't listen to rock music, but I bought your CD. I'm a country fan, but you guys are amazing live.
Wow. That's
and
great.
and I think I think that has a lot to do with our success and any band's success, is getting out there and meet the road, see what it's like, really get out there and put your heart into it.
Right. Now, you also have Chip over at Chipster helping you. You have David Snowden.
Yes.
Tell me about them two people, how they helped your band, David Snowden and Chip.
Well, David came along first.
Right.
And I knew David probably for 3 years prior to him helping. I was introduced to him from, we were doing music for a television show, a local television show. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like we were just writing for the pilot or anything. They liked our music, and they were like, hey, can we use some of your music? And I was like, yeah, sure, this is great publicity for us. So in the midst of that, this gentleman, Johnny O, introduced me to David Snowden. Mm-hmm. And he's like, David did this with Kiss, and he did that with Kiss, and all I kept hearing was Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. I was like, okay, I like Kiss, a little bit before my time, but I still like them. They were amazing entertainers. So, when I met David, I told him, I'm a Kiss fan, I like Kiss, and he gave me some stuff to read, and I've read some stuff up on Kiss, and him and I have just been friends ever since. I go over his house and watch football games, and we were sitting down talking about his history and about how certain bands got signed to different labels, and and it always wasn't, it always wasn't a pretty picture. It was always like, well, this door guy knew this guy, and that's how it happened. And I jokingly said, yeah, kind of like how David Snowden knows everybody, it really could help out Silvertung, but we'll leave that alone, and started laughing, and we both laughed about it. Right. And he looked at me and he said, let's go out to dinner next week. Cool. And that's when David looked at me and he said, I think you're right. I think I can help you out. Right. He said, I don't think I'm going to be your end-all, be-end-all, but I can point you in some directions and kind of cater to some things for you. So that's how we met Chip. Wow. And then we did a show out in Buchanan, PA, and met up with Chip the next day in Philadelphia. And we sat down and we kind of told him where we were at and what we want to do. And Chip said, well, let me get the album, let me listen to it, and we'll take it from there. So Chip, of course, we had the CD in our hands, and we handed it to him right then and there. And right off the bat, he looks at it, he looks at us, and he looks down at it again, and he goes, this is amazing. Wow. And we were like, huh? He goes, nobody does this with CDs anymore. And I went, what do you mean? I said, honestly, that's hand-drawn by our tattoo guy, a guy that sponsors us, Mr. Tony DeVille. Wow. I said he hand-drew all that. That's all hand-drawn. All the inside, the CD cover, the CD itself, that's all hand-drawn. Wow. And Chip was blown away by it. So then he took the CD, and we didn't hear from him for about 2 weeks. We were kind of like, he's probably not going to be interested in it, maybe too heavy for him, whatever. Well, what he was doing, he was sending it out to some of his media friends to try to get some feedback. And then when he came back and he said, I think we can work with this. He said, I'm getting great feedback from all my media friends. Right. So we were like, okay. Cool. So where do we go from here? But honestly, both of those guys have been great to us, and they've helped us. They've helped us a long way. Right. And we all agree that this is just the beginning. We're going to keep rolling with this, and we're going to keep working it. Wow. And of course, we get to meet somebody like you. Right. This is just another great interview that we get, and and first off, let me thank you for it, because I know. I've talked to David, and I know that your time is very of the essence, and I appreciate that even more so than anything. I mean, any DJ can, or anybody can do an interview. Right. When you got so much going on in life, and you still take the time out to do that, that's just totally amazing. Well, I know David maybe 20 years, Chip maybe 10 years. Chip's not pushy, but to the point, and he'll wait a day or two, and they'll say, well, what do you think? And if I don't get back to him about another 2 days, what do you think? He definitely does his job.
You know,
Yeah, so that's good.
And I like the guys, so I like both of them, David Snowden and Chip over there. And,
yeah, very, very nice guys.
You know, so it's always, fun to do interviews for either of them guys that I could help out. Going back to your interview, I'm looking on your Facebook, and what's the joy that you get when you actually have a kid open a Christmas present and it has a signed CD from Silvertung and a drumstick or whatever, you know, when you got the privilege of doing something for a little kid, and what goes through your mind?
It's actually mind blowing to see a child that likes what we do. You know, we're 25, 26 years older than this kid probably, you know,
right.
And this kid is digging our music, and it kind of takes me back to when I first got to listen to Alice in Chains.
Wow.
You know, and that's kind of where I grew up on some stuff, and I was blown away by Alice in Chains. And these kids, I mean, and this isn't the only child that we have. There are tons of kids out there. Parents bring their kids to like all-age shows. And we see these kids out there, and they're all up front, and they're just rocking out with us, and they got T-shirts on, and they mimic us. You know, Halloween, there was a child out there that dressed like I did. And, you know, he was Speed from Silvertung for Halloween.
Wow, that's great.
And it's I guess because the pop scene and hip hop and all this stuff is so huge, and country is so huge, you kind of sit back and go, man, where does rock stand? Because when I was growing up, you know, from my uncles, and they were all telling me, "Oh, you think rock scene's great now? You should have been back in the '80s when it was really hot." And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that's like, but here's a child that's digging Silvertung,
right?
You know, and this is someone that has an open mind to things.
That's
so amazing. This kid could go anywhere he wants to.
Right.
He chose Silvertung.
That's got to be
that's just
fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
This is where I keep saying that we're four of the luckiest guys, because not only do we have stuff like that, you know, we have families that come out to our shows. You know, and these kids are being raised listening to Silvertung stuff.
Wow.
I just hope we meet their standards as they get older.
Just the look on these kids' faces is, tells the story. You know, so congratulations on that too. You know.
Thank you. I think they had the same look on their face from the first time I ever got to meet Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't know what to say to them. You know, here are two icons in front of me. Just, you know, I'm next in line to meet them, and I'm just like, what do you say to an icon?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. You know, I just look at, hey guys, can I get a picture with you? That was it.
That's the tough thing about doing interviews, not with particularly you, is that somebody legendary, what are you going to ask that hasn't been asked 1,000 times?
Right, exactly.
You can't ask something, you just can't, because it's been answered. You know, so
exactly.
Like, that's why I love indie labels. You know, I love indie artists. I love getting the underground people and helping them build a fan base, and that's what our site was really about. Always started to help out the new guys, and watch them nurture and get up there and take over. You know, it's time for new blood out there. You know, so. And
this is the Rockeyez.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I tell you, if every city had someone out there doing this, it would make it so much easier to spread yourself and draw new fans and build a fan base. I mean, it's extremely tough.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to you. And the funny thing is we're bigger in different areas than what we are in Baltimore.
Wow, that's good. You know, just spread out a little bit. Yeah.
It's like your hometown doesn't accept you yet.
But you're getting there. You know, you're getting there. I mean, you opened up for big bands, so that gives exposure. You know.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and the funny thing is it's put us in different areas. You know, we just went out to Michigan and Detroit and Ohio and made a ton of fans out there. And we're going to be putting on a lot of miles this year because there's, last year we didn't have the album to push.
Right.
So basically what we were doing, we were writing, playing shows, and building the fan base.
Cool. Very cool.
So now we have something to ride on.
Right. So what is 2014 looking for you? What are you going to do?
Like I said, we're going to put on a lot of miles. We're going to spread ourselves out as much as we possibly can. We finally made some contacts for some bigger festivals like Rock on the Range. We did the War Tour. We did the Mayhem Tour. And a lot of that was through Jägermeister because we are sponsored by Jägermeister. But, you're out there and you're doing it. And now we're looking at, we're going to end up going to Tennessee this year. We're going to go to, Florida. We want to hit as many areas that our tour van will take us to.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And actually, we've even talked about New Jersey, but, it's because it's right in our backyard.
Right.
But we're like, where do we go and who do we talk to and what do we do up there?
Right.
I know a lot of people that play like the truck and everything, but it's like, okay, that's a big venue.
Right. But there's clubs around, a place called Mexicali, Dingbats. They bring in good people. It's not like a huge room, but it's a decent-sized room. But, you get locals, plus you get majors in both of these venues. Like Mexicali got Jakey Lee coming, and that's only a small, maybe 200, 300-seater. No seats, but it fits in 300 people. Dingbats, maybe 200 people, but you got Adler's Appetite and, a lot of good bands coming to these two venues in Jersey. Both are on North Jersey, so you're closer to New York. Maybe that's the reason why more people go there, because it's closer to New York.
Sure.
But
sure.
That's two venues I suggest. But I just want to congratulate you again on Devils and the Details, and it's an amazing CD. I hope everybody goes and supports it, or at least, go to your Facebook, listen to a couple tunes, see what they think of it, and, congratulations. And, I look forward to maybe getting to see you live in Jersey coming in 2014.
Thanks, Brandon, and I definitely appreciate that, and I really hope you do. I would love to see you come out to a show and see what you think of the live stuff. We would put as much energy as you can on a recording, but you can really bring it out in a live show, and that's what we really try to do. We try to please everybody that we can.
Cool.
Not always going to do that, but
do the best, right?
Exactly.
Well, I congratulate you once again. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Well, first off, I want to thank you, Brian, for taking your time out to do the interview with me and speak so highly of the album.
No problem.
I'm really, really glad that you like it. But to any of the fans out there, we're something new. We're some fresh blood, yes. We may not be your big rock stars, which we don't want to be rock stars. We just want to come out there and meet some new people and share what we call our madness, which is something that I hope we hit every city with. And if there's anybody out there that's listening, check out iTunes. We're all over it now. Just be prepared for some craziness. That's all we can say. And thank you guys again. It's always about the fans, because without the fans, there is no us.
Cool. Thanks very much, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Bye.